Friends, family, fans, episode 87 of Back Nine Bets. It's Finau or never. It's go time. It's the Mexico Open. It's the Tony Finau Futures Week. It's Back to the Future with Tony Finau. Let's freaking go. Good week last week. Not so much from the general area that it comes from, but it was a good week. 4 weeks ago at the Farmers Insurance Open, we got reverse swept. Breaking 100 broke our hearts. We got broken down. We lost every freaking bet there was on the card. Every single bet. $100 down the tubes. The last 3 weeks, we've clawed and fought and scrapped our way back to $100 profit over that period of time. So we are back in business. We're back in business for the year. We're back, baby. Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, we are back. We're rocking the Mexico Open attire. I mean, we got the sombrero, the Jet sombrero. I know it's a tough scene for some of y'all. We got the nice flowery shirt. We're ready to rock and roll. The placement market last week wasn't so hot for us. Scotty Scheffler couldn't finish inside the top 5. Sahith Theegala couldn't finish inside the top 5. Adam Scott finished 19th, not inside the top 10. Rory McIlroy couldn't finish inside the top 10. Justin Thomas couldn't finish inside the top 10. Tom Hoagie, though, finished inside the top 20. The Tom Hoagie train is in full steam, friends. He'll be on the top 20 card going forward. I think this guy's doing the Lord's work for us. Sam Burns cashed the top 20. AK in the house. What's up, my brother? Wyndham Clark. We went heavy with Wyndham Clark for a top 30 because he's made like 85% of his cuts. Misses a cut that only took 15 people out of the tournament. So shout out to Wyndham Clark for absolutely sucking it up. Tough scene. But you know what? Our farewell fiver took care of business. A little 3-ball parlay, 4 different 3 balls to start round 1. Absolutely crushed for us. Adam Scott pushed with his gang. The other 3 guys took care of business. It was delightful. Benny Ahn made like a late round charge eagle. Phoebe's barking out the window. We had Patrick Cantley take care of business. He took care of Jordan Spieth in round 1. And then there was some other guy involved that also took care of business. So it was a good week for us on Back 9 Bets. So much so that we're still continuing the promo code NEW over there at rotoballer.com, PGA. 30% off all the premium tools, all the Showdown models, all Spencer's models, all the Discord access, all the optimizers, all the research stations, the whole shebang. $17.40. Cash that shit now. Code NEW. Let's rock and roll. All right. Let's do this thing. Let's take a quick peek at some key stats that are really important this week. We are going back to the Puerto Vallarta, which is Vedante Golf Course or something like that. Let's take a quick peek at the 2 years worth of stats that we are going to be dealing with this week. Surprise, surprise. You guys are going to have your minds blown when I told you this. Distance is paramount here. I know. We're going to just say that, though, because maybe this is the only show you watch. I doubt it, but hi, Joanne. How are y'all? Good to see you in the chat there, boo. Tiger missed the cut. Yeah, he stunk it up. I mean, everyone that was important stunk it up. And my Hideki hatred is even more fueled and passionate now because he went ahead and just won that tournament. It was the first top 10 he's had since the Players of 2023 is a win. Goes and shoots a 62. No one even came close. So anyway, 2023, 2022, you can see a distance off the tee. And then if you take a look at approach play, it is long irons. That's basically the bread and butter at this golf course. The course history, only 2 years, not a lot of it because we've got random Mexican people from the Mexican tour playing. We've got random Joes showing up here and there. There isn't anything that drastic about this golf course's course history, so I wouldn't rely on it that much this week. It's a long-ass golf course, 7,300 yards, about 200 yards longer than tour average. The driving distance here is about 10 yards further than normal, but I saw Rahul Pereda said in his interview, it's playing soft, it's playing longer. So we'll have to see what happens in that department. But even though these guys are hitting that extra 10 yards, they're still hitting about 3 or 4% more fairways. So that's good to see. And then as you can see, the green regulation rates are about the same. So which is kind of impressive considering these guys are coming from all the way from 150 and out. I came to ask a Southie, the correct way to pronounce MJ Duffy. Thank you in advance. Spaz, what's up, my brother? Yep, distance and ball speed, baby. Joanne, that's the way to go. We're looking for distance and ball speed. It's basically the same thing. I know some guys hit their ball further, but keep it on the ground. That's just kind of how it goes. All right. So basically, that's what we're doing here. Let's dive into the model. And full disclosure, we got a bit of a situation here. I don't like to do these kind of shows where we have a golfer that we've bet a future on, but we've put that out there. We've spoken about it on many shows already. We spoke about it in the Rotoballer Discord. I popped it in the Tour Junkies Discord as well. So it's out there. I had it on Twitter. Tony Finau 18-1 at Bet365 was a complete misprice. Now, to be honest with you, he's number one in the model. I was looking to cash it out. I put my $55 on it. I bet it like a major. So this week is the Mexican major for me. I get a little excited because I thought that was a really good bet early in January. Turns out Tony Finau forgot how to putt over those few weeks. So he's actually opened this week's betting market at a higher number than he did when he played here and John Rahm was in the field. So that just puts that into perspective. So it's not nearly as good of a bet as I was hoping it would be. And now we kind of stuck with him. So we've got a few other bets that we can still place that will be returning only our usual return, not the major return that we did with Tony Finau this week. But we still have a few bets. We've got 3 other long shot outrights. We'll probably target a few top 5 bets and go from there. As always, we're going to have our placement market rocking and rolling over here. By the way, we're also going to do a bonus Korn Ferry Tour deep dive because about 40 of the 44 Korn Ferry Tour DP World Tour guys will be playing this week. So if there's ever a week to know exactly who the hell, what the hell, why the hell the Korn Ferry Tour golfers are in this field, it's this week. So once the show's best bets portion is over, we will dive right into the Korn Ferry 44 and take a look at those boys. Make sure we get a good feel for who we will be looking to go to this week. So let's start off the bat here with Tony. As you can see, the only market he's actually been profitable in is the outright market. So that's exciting. That is exciting. His rate of return, 21%. Everything else in this department, yuck. Complete yuck. So we'll have to see what happens with Tony. I don't think I'll be putting any placement bets. I'm not even sure I'll be playing him in DFS. He's looking chalky. He's looking dorky. The putting is just off the charts bad. So we'll see. But he's coming into the week with the best course history. Remember, not that important this week, as we've seen, because it's only 2 years worth of data, blah, blah, blah. The ball striking has been scintillating. Tony Finau-esque. That's what we love about Tony. There's 100 and what? We've got 132 guys in the field here in the model, and he's 108th in putting. So that's good for you. And if you take a look at the key stats, it's a little more important here than normal. If you take a look at the putting, it's okay. It's about the same. So that's fine. But whatever. It's still, you got to be able to get the ball in the goddamn hole, Tony, and he just can't seem to do it. So we'll have to see what's going on and go from there. He plays easy course as well, 6th in the field. So what Tony is, he's the big old bully of the PGA, the friendly bully, the big bad giant, the big friendly giant, the BFG, the roll doll in your hole kind of guy. He beats up on these weaker fields. He bullies them. He's a ball striking beast. No one in this field can really match him on a consistent level when it comes to the ball striking and around the green play that Tony has. So he's going to be fine in that department. But man, oh man, it's going to be interesting to see what he can get up to with the putter this week. And I'm really concerned about it. It could at any given moment just show up and then we're looking good. But also at the same time, it could be a just complete and utter disaster. So we're going to have to kind of bide our time and see what goes on. As you can see here, the weighted strokes gained approach for Tony, number 1 in the field. So weighted strokes gained takes all the different proximity buckets from 150 to 200. However many shots come from there, that percentage is assigned to that bucket. And then you kind of go from there. So we don't have a lot of wedges in the scoring for the weighted strokes gained. We've got weighted proximity for Tony, number 1, green irregulations, number 1, and then the good shot, poor shot is 5th and 9th. So good shot rate is going to be important this week because the guys are going to be coming from far, far away, kind of like the Shrek journey. And you got to be able to hit your shots close in order to make those birdie putts, unless you want your putter to shine. So we've seen this with Tony. Maybe that's why he shines here, because the short putts are a concern for him. The closer he gets to the hole, we've got some issues. The further away, the better his stroke looks. So maybe with these longer approach shots coming in, he's not going to have those 5 to 15 footers as much. He's going to have like 10 to 20 footers for birdie, which are a little bit more comfortable for Tony in that range, I would think. So we're trying to sell Tony here for this win. But we can see the ball striking's a beautiful, beautiful situation. We don't want any major strokes gained involved here. We don't want any of that, and neither do we want scrambling. So we're going to get rid of that. Take a second to breathe. We've got a little fired up here early in the show. The recent birdie or better rates have been pretty poor for Tone. So we'll see what happens in that department, but the par 5 scoring is pretty good. We'll see what he can do in that department, and then once the tournament starts, he tends to kind of get his stuff together in the middle of the week. The Sunday scoring has been pretty shit. 87th in round 4 strokes gained average. So that's not the best for Tony. He's been kind of dropping the ball, and that's probably why he keeps falling out of the top 20s and top 10s. But we'll see what Tony can get up to. So far in the last 12 months, he's been inside the top 20 only 24% of the time. Not very good. So we'll see what Tony can get up to this week. We got to be hopeful. I would have hoped for better play from Tony this week, but such is life. We're in it. I would not bet a 7.5 to 1. That's for sure. 18 to 1. That's where we are. Davis Thompson. I see Joanne here saying Thompson, top 10. I don't know. I don't actually like the top 10 for Thompson. He's never cashed that bet in the last 12 months, Joanne. So I hate to burst your bubble in that department. If you take a look at his top 10 market, it's actually the worst market he could bet in. If you're trying to win $100 every single week, Davis Thompson plays, you would have lost $281 by now. So that's not good. However, if you take a look at his top 20 rate, it's 13%. It's better than the 0 that you're getting for a top 10 and a top 5 over the last 12 months. So I think this course suits him very nicely. The model adores him because he is the leading par 5 scorer. The leading par 5 scorer in this field. Nobody scores better on par 5s than Davis Thompson. So that's what we like about him. He's also very, very much better. Very, very much better. Yes. So as that sentence just went off the rails, so does his game as the week goes along. 15th in strokes gained in round 1, 39th in 2, 91st in round 3, and then 112th in round 4. So Davis Thompson just disintegrates as the week goes along, and that's most likely why those top 10s, top 5s don't quite show up. He's been playing quite nicely, though. He's had a 21st and a 15th in his last 3 starts. 21st at the Amex, 15th at the Phoenix Open. So there's a lot to like there. I like a top 20 bet for him at this golf course. And a top 20 bet for Davis Thompson will be at minus 110 over at Bet365, ties paid in full. Give me that this week. That's our first placement bet. Davis Thompson, minus 110 for a top 20. He's in it to win it. That's the way we are going this week. Let's put him in here, make him nice and white for ourselves so we remember. And then we're going to go. Steven Yeager is next up on the board, third in the model, doing his thing. I also biked 35 miles today back and forth to the doctor. The Linda Qs are here without a vehicle. We're down to one car, and I forgot that the car wasn't at home today. Mrs. Maniac had it. I had to bike 15, 18 miles to the doctor today and came back, and my legs are toast. So I'm trying to drink some water. I'm trying to rehydrate you. Apologies. This is also why we're betting these bets live, basically. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling recharged. I'm feeling Mexican-esque with the sombrero. And Steven Yeager, top 20 market, would have cashed for him this year. Another guy that doesn't like to finish inside the top 10, doesn't like to finish inside the top 5, or win golf tournaments. Let's take a look at Yeager's top 20 rate, 32%. If you take a look at what his odds are, they're 49% implied at plus 105. So that's the situation with Yeager. Let's take a quick peek at what AK had to say about his power fade that the tour junkies do. I brought this up on the power fade, but what do you think about par 3 scoring with 5 par 3s this week? So what's that, AK? Let's go try and find these holes quickly. Where the hell is this? Here's the holes. Okay, so here's the yardages. Here's the 5 par 3s, and they 175 yards or 170 yards and out. So basically, that's a good, that's what is driving these long iron approach shots, is these par 5s and these par 3s. The fact that they're just these lengthy ass holes. And then we've got a 500-yard par 4, a 520-yard par 4, 496, 496, 505, 460. Like we've got some long ass holes. So the long irons are going to be in play for sure. There's also 4 par 5s. So I think long iron play is essential. I think that's the way to go. Par 3 scoring, I guess you can look into that, particularly the longer ones. But also, I think if you just look at the iron proximity numbers, the iron rates from 175 and out, 150 and out, that's going to be the way to go. So that's kind of my take on that department, and we'll see what can go on here. We got some spam from Mike in the chat here. Whatever, we'll have to get an admin in here, but we'll see what cooks. Guys, I'm piling. Got my 5 on William Hill, all each way. Griot, Pendrith, Hubbard, Michael Kim. All right, we'll see. I don't know about those guys. We'll get to them. But Steven Yeager, I'm liking him for a top 20 here. It's the most profitable market he's been in. He seems to get it together in that department. The top 10s, the top 5s aren't quite rolling in for Steven Yeager, but the top 20s come at like a third of a time. Every 1 in 3 tournaments, he kind of gets his stuff together. We'll see what he can do. Ideally, a top 40 would be the one you want to go there, but a Steven Yeager top 40 is minus 230. And that's just not going to cut it because I think he's going to be a top 20 candidate this week. This kind of overarching narrative of me kind of liking guys that played well at Torrey that are playing this week is going to be the thing you're going to see from me because I like this course as a comp in a weird way. The rough isn't the same, but it's the same. Tons of driver down the fairway and the long irons into the greens. So that's kind of where we're liking Steven Yeager. He's been crushing it on the distance side of things lately. It's got a lot better for him. He's 33rd in this field. I think that's last year's stats still. We're still waiting on updating it for this year, but I think the stats for him have got much better off the tee. His green regulation rates, the iron stuff from a weighted perspective are delightful. We'll see what he can do in that department. And then let's take a look at the par 5 scoring. It's 5th in the field. So love Steven Yeager. That's why he's 3rd in the model. But the problem with him is look at this. 2 top 10 strokes gained rankings for round 1 and round 2, but 58th and 74th in round 3 and round 4. Got guys that just can't hang. Got guys that just cannot hang over the weekend at the top of the model here. It's not looking good. So that's also probably why the top 10s, the top 5s aren't quite there for him, even though he grades out so well. I'm going to go with the top 20 at plus 105 for the Jaeger bomb and see what he can do. We like him a lot. We'll see what he can rock and roll for us in that market. It is his most profitable of the 4 that we see over here. This chat's popping, folks. You got my ADD rocking and rolling. Vincent Norman, plus 105, top 40. Easy money. Whale size, Sam Taylor says. I don't know, man. Let's take a look. Where's Vincent Norman? He's probably all the way down the board here for me. Not necessarily my best golfer in the field. So here's Vincent Norman, 51st in the model. I see it. Take a look at his top 40 rates. It's 21%. Yes, I understand. It's probably looking at a course fit, right? I think that's what you're looking at. If you take a look at the distance off the tee, he's 12th in that department. So that's good to see from the Normster. If you take a look at what he gets up to with the long irons, the strokes gain numbers are pretty good, but the good shot rate not so hot, which is still fine for a top 40. And then if you take a look at his par 5 scoring, it's 2nd in the field. So I'm kind of with you there, Sam. I don't mind a top 40 on a Vincent Norman. We'll have to wait and see if I pull the trigger on that, but I'm not against it. I can't say I'm like overly thrilled about this guy. He's very hit or miss, obviously. So we'll see what he can do. But I don't mind where your head's at there at all. I don't mind where your head's at whatsoever. Let's take care of that there for us. Let's get back to the top of the board here. The ADDs, you guys have got me all over the place. We've got Brian in the house. What's up, my man? We got Don't Sleep on Doherty. I agree. Are we all going to wake up on Monday wondering why Tommy Two Gloves ran away with this? Dude, the way this year has been going, it is very likely that's the case. Very, very likely that's the case. Keith Mitchell is not next. We're going to speak about Nikolai Højgaard. Nicky Menage Quad. Højgaard, coming off the Euro Tour. He's been quite an interesting sensation here. Over the last little while, he's been playing some very good golf. So this 15 tournaments over the last 12 months includes some Euro Tour stuff. And in the Euro Tour endeavors, he's finished inside the top 40, 67% of the time, and inside the top 20, 20% of the time. So it's not too shabby, but he spikes. 7% of the time he's inside the top 5. So that's been very, very solid. Not terrible stuff there. He flirts with the top. And if you take a look at what he's been up to this year, second at the Farmers, 31st at Pebble, 39th at the Genesis. Pebble and the Genesis were two elevated events. The big boys came out to play. Maybe Nicky wasn't so ready to party there. He couldn't menage it. But at the Farmers, where, we had a bit of a weaker field, he finished second. And like we said, of the 3 tournaments he's played in so far, the Farmers, most likely the best comp of those 3 courses to this week. In fact, one of my comp courses was Torrey North. Not Torrey South, Torrey North, because I think it's still those long irons, big booming drives, but the rough isn't as thick around there. You can get away with a few errant tee shots if you're not in the fairway. He's minus 115 for a top 20. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I do like him in DFS as an alternate to Tony Finau. I'll give you that. I don't think I'm going to pull the trigger on him for a top 15, a top 20. I need to see a little bit more from him still. I know what I'm going to be getting from these 2 boys. I know what their game's like. Nikolai, we'll have to wait and see. The same goes for Keith Mitchell. I mean, if you've been betting Keith Mitchell to finish inside the top 20, you've been broke. He's lost you a total of $358 in the T20 market. He's only finished inside the top 20, 17% of his 23 starts in the last 12 months. No dice there. He hasn't had a top 5. And he's had 13% of his top 10s. So that's okay. A few of them have been some backdoor stuff, which is not ideal. But the reason Keith Mitchell's grading out so well, because he's the best off the tee in the field, he is an elite driver of the golf ball. Elite driver of the golf ball. 3rd in the field off the tee in courses that are 7,200 yards or longer. Let's take a look at his recent form. 30th at the Sony, 9th at the Amex, came storming up the leaderboard on Sunday. So that was a complete backdoor top 10 to finish 9th. And then we've had a 17th at the Phoenix and a 54th at the Pebble. Missed the cut at the Farmers. So, it's not been great. Not great, Bob, from Keith Mitchell. So the model likes his off the tee stuff. Whether he can keep it together, let's take a quick look at his round by round stuff. It's going to be the exact same as these other guys. Take a look at this. Keith Mitchell, round 1, 22nd. Round 2, 55th. Round 3, 107. Round 4, 43rd. So he plays well in round 1, slides a bit down the leaderboard in round 2, slides down the leaderboard in round 3, and then kind of comes back to life in round 4. He doesn't like to be close inside the top 20, doesn't like it that much. We'll have to see what Keith Mitchell gets up to. I don't know. I don't know if I want to bet Keith Mitchell this week. He's without the top 5s there. No dice. No dice. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Harry Hall finds himself at $6,800, 6th in the upside model, 37th in safety. Harry H finds himself at a 26% top 40 rate as well. And he's plus 120 for a top 40 this week. What about Harry does the model like? What is it nuts about Harry for? Approach play seems like it's moving in the right direction for him. He's pretty darn good around the green. He's pretty good putting. So that's probably going to walk in there, and the par 5 scoring is 8th in the field. So we like that from him, but geez, it hasn't been good. So I'm kind of just going to leave Harry alone. I don't like what the model's seeing there, even though the top 40 number kind of is appealing. I'm out. Spoke about Taylor Pendrith on the Rotoballer PGA show yesterday. me and Joe nicely because Spencer was sick. Hope you're feeling better, Spence. Taylor Pendrith, if you take a look at what he gets up to, Joe said, Taylor Pendrith is a boom or bust kind of a golfer. You rather want to bet him top 10, top 20 versus like a top 40 or to make the cut because he just pops or he doesn't. If you take a look at what he gets up to here, Joe was spot on. He said that kind of just anecdotally. I agree with him, though. The numbers back it up. If you take a look at what Pendrith gets up to, 75% of the time when he finishes inside the top 40, it's a top 20. He finishes inside the top 20 at a 26% clip. The top 40 number is 35. So it's only like a 9% difference between top 20 and top 40. That's the way to go. Half the time he finishes inside the top 20, it's also a top 10. So he's got that going for him. And I think this week, top 20 bet on Taylor Pendrith is not the worst thing in the world. It would be plus 120 on a golf course where we're getting a guy with off the tee numbers over the last 24 rounds, 37th, not the best there, but he's good on these longer courses. He's typically the 13th best driver in the field. He's got tons of distance, and the weighted proximity numbers, the weighted strokes gained, are much better for the long irons. If you take a look at his approach numbers, not very good when it comes to general approach play. But when you take a look at the other weighted numbers, it's much better the further away from the hole he gets. He's 10th in weighted strokes gained. He's 7th in poor shot avoidance. The good shot rates are a little rough there in 30th, but everything looks good from a weighted strokes gained perspective. Love what he's up to. I'm assuming his par 5 scoring is pretty darn good. 11th in the field. Let's go. Boom chakalaka. Taylor Pendrith. Let's get it going. This guy hates himself around 4, though. 121st in the field in strokes gained in round 4. Yikes. But he finished 9th at the Farmers, 10th at the Sony. He's kind of popping. He's kind of popping right now. For a top 10, it would be plus 260. I kind of like the top 20. I don't know why. Finished 30th here last year. So that's kind of where Taylor Pendrith finds himself. I'm in this week. Plus 120 for a top 20. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. We're in on him. Top 20, plus 120 over at Bet 365. All right. Jake Knapp, friends. Jake freaking Knapp. Hope you're not napping on Jake Knapp because he's going to win a tournament here soon, and it could be this week. 45-1 over at the good people at Bet 365 in the enhanced winning tab there. He's 40-1 pretty much across the board everywhere else. Jake Knapp is our second outright of the video. This guy, distance in abundance, leads the field in distance. He's easy scoring on the Korn Ferry Tour, second. These are raw strokes gained on the courses, so it's not true strokes gained based off strength of field. It's just raw strokes gained versus everyone that was playing that week. It gives us a decent example of how these guys play. Jake Knapp on easy scoring conditions, second in this field. Love what he can do. If you take a look at his around the green plays, pretty darn solid. Par 5 scoring for him. It's tough to figure out these guys from the Korn Ferry Tour on the par 5s because I don't know. It's their par 5 numbers weren't matching up nicely with the PGA Tour. We're still trying to figure this stuff out. This is the joy of this tournament, is dealing with these guys. But what we do know is Jake Knapp, friends, family, fans, since he showed up on the PGA Tour, made the cut at the Sony, finished 70th, had a bad weekend, whatever. Missed the cut at the Amex. It's the Amex. It's the Amex. Third at the Farmers. He was flirting with the victory there for a second. And then 28th at the Phoenix Open. We had a plus 500 for a top 20 on Jake Knapp at the Phoenix. And he finished 28th. He was inside the top 20 the majority of the week, kind of slumped his way around, kind of just struggling in round 3, I guess. That's his problem. So we'll have to see what he gets up to. But I love the fact that he kind of cruises up the leaderboard in round 4. Very good stuff in round 4 there from Napster. Plus 170 for a top 20 for Jake Knapp. and 45-1 to win this tournament. We'll take it. I was hoping for a 50. I really was, but beggars can't be choosers. Jake Knapp will be on the card at 45-1. Let's go. He's also at plus 170 for a top 20 that we will betting him this week. Did you fade Jake Knapp? AK, you didn't fade Jake Knapp, did you? Oh boy. Oh boy. So it's AK versus the back nine bets, baby. The power fade versus back nine bets. We'll see. But I love Jake Knapp this week. Let's rock and roll, Jakey. All right. Next up, we go from the longest hitter in the field to one of the shortest. Oh, maybe. Were you talking about Aaron Rye, Brian? I don't think Tommy Two Gloves is even in this field. So you must have been speaking about Aaron Rye. There we go. Okay. AK faded. Oh boy. He faded Jake Knapp. Yikes. That's a freaky fade right there, buddy. So Aaron Rye, the only way I'd play him, the model's got him all the way up in the top here because this guy's weighted strokes gain numbers are incredible. He's a very good long iron player. Very good long iron player. And don't worry about Jake Knapp's numbers here. This guy's hardly had any golf on the PGA Tour. So it's tough to kind of deal with these guys that haven't had too many rounds of golf. His numbers will figure themselves out as we go along. But Aaron Rye has been playing on the PGA Tour for a while now, and he loves himself. The reason why he doesn't probably play so well at these birdie fests, because the wedge numbers aren't the best. But take a look at this stuff. Oh, obviously, take a look at this. Inside 150 yards out of the rough, 113th in the field. From the rough, 150 yards and out. He's the best in the field in strokes gained. What? He's 19th from 150 to 200 out the fairway. He's 23rd from 200 and out. So he's an incredibly good long iron player, especially out of the rough. He won't be in the rough that much because his accuracy is off the charts. Let's see what he can get up to. He's sneaky. I feel like this would be a great DFS play. I think he's a great DFS play because he does not fit that Bombers narrative that everyone's going to be glomming onto this week. He fits the long iron play. He's going to have to because he's not going to be nearly in the same range as everybody else. He's a top 40 guy. Maybe we go with that at minus 125. 46% of the time he's inside the top 40 this last 12 months, and he's minus 125 for a top 40. Let's go. I like the passive play on Aaron Rye, especially with that long iron play. Let's see what he's been up to recently in the last little while. The par 5 scoring for him, 16th in the field. Let's go. The round 1 and round 3 are his best rounds. He's had a 57th, a 33rd, and 2 missed cuts. So I think I like guess what? The 33rd came at the Farmers. And I don't think this field is nearly the same as the Farmers. There ain't no Max Homer. There ain't no Xander Schauffele. There ain't no Patrick Canty. There ain't no Keegan Bradley. There ain't no Mathieu Pavon in this field. So I like Aaron Rye. He's our first top 40 bet of the week. Minus 125 over at the good people of BetMGM. Bet365, apologies. EVR, my boy, my South African China. He's 10th in the model. Recent form has been good. Last 24 rounds. I think he's a very good long iron player as well, but not nearly as good as Aaron Rye. What about his par 5 scoring? 14th in the field. He loves to race up the leaderboard. I think I'll play on EVR this week. He's going to be, if he makes the cut, we wait for him to finish round 3. Hopefully he's flirting outside the top few spots there, and then we play him. Like you play him 10 positions or 20 positions outside of where he is. So if he's sitting 45th, we'll play him for like a top 20, I think, because in round 4, he's going to be on the showdown slate for sure. I love what he can get up to. We cashed him at the Worldwide Technology Championship out in Mexico. I don't think this course, they're still going to have to hit a lot of greens. And I'm seeing a lot of steam on Van Rooyen. The thing about his game is that around the green play is very bad. And if we take a look at the key stats, wherever they were, we've got a green regulation rate that's tour average. So once in every 3 times, he's going to have to hit a chip. And that concerns me with EVR. We liked him at that resort course that had massive fairways, massive greens, far less chipping. Victory for EVR. I don't know about this week. He has been playing great. I think he's going to be a live situation for us. I think he's a live ad. Absolutely a live ad at some point for a placement bet. I don't know. Our outright card's pretty saturated right now. So that's the thing with EVR. He might be a showdown situation because he could have a good around the green play day, but I don't see it happening all week long until we get to round 4. Eckroat, I've never quite been on. He pops inside the top 10 every now and then. Once every 10 times, he finishes inside the top 10. And old Austin Eckroat is some interesting stuff. Great long iron player. Great good shot rate. Hits a lot of good shots, typically. He's not the best out of the rough, which maybe these fairways help him a bit better there. He's better out of the rough. Not really. Either side of 150, it's pretty bad. But the good shot rate out of the fairway is pretty darn good once you get outside of 200. So that's probably why he's popping up over here. What's the par 5 scoring like? 39th in the field. We haven't had a better than a 25th from him this week. Yeah, it's been rough. I think I'm just going to leave him alone. I don't know. I can't get this guy right. He's minus 120 for a top 20. Yeah. We're just going to leave him alone. Chesson Hadley, what's he popping for? We're going to start expediting some analysis here. It's got to do with what? The weighted good shots. He's just solid across the board, I guess. Strokes gained from all the ranges. I don't know. I don't like Hadley. I don't like him this week. JJ Spahn is interesting, but he hasn't been playing well at all. And then we get Emiliano Grillo. And I just want to make a quick, let me just check something here. Because, okay, we haven't missed our guys. We're going to get to them yet. We've got 2 more outrights coming up. And we've got a few other placement bets we're going to be placing here. Chesson Hadley, JJ Spahn, we're leaving them alone. Emiliano Grillo. He's 9th and 14th in the model. Not necessarily as good as the second price golfer on the slate for DFS. He's all over the place. He's all over the place. He shows up every now and then, or he doesn't. I am contemplating betting him for a top 10. The exposure rate there would be lower. His strokes gained from 150 to 200 is 3rd in the field. So that's good to see. But he's not the best long iron player. Strokes gained from 200 and out, 108. I mean, that's not very good, is it? So we'll have to see what he gets up to. He hits much better, decent, good shots from that range. But the strokes gained with the long irons is a little concerning for me. Out the rough, with the long irons, it's good. I don't know how much he's going to be in the rough this week. He's a round 1 and a round 4 guy. Typically shines in those 2 rounds, gets a little lost in between. And we've got like some really interesting results. He finished 5th here last year. I think people are going to be glomming onto that. He's also got a 33rd in 2022. And then he's been making cuts, I guess, in tournaments that we've had, the 3 no-cut events. We had Pebble, where he finished 14th. We had the Sony, where he finished 7th. The Farmers, he finished 20th. And the Phoenix Open, he finished 22nd. But that was a backdoor 22 there. The Genesis, it was very average for him. So I don't know. I don't know how much I like what Emiliano Grillo is getting up to right now. It's been, he's my guy. But it hasn't been good. Like, it hasn't been great. It's been good. Hasn't been great. He's plus 260 for a top 10. He finishes inside the top 10 about 20% of the time. So to me, that's probably the way to go after Grillo. If he has a good week this week, give us a top 10 at plus 260. Won't have to invest that much to get some exposure to him. He is plus 450 for a top 5, which he does 4% of the time. I like the top 10 number. I think that's the way we're going to attack this guy this week. I think he's paid out that top 10 number pretty nicely, as well as the top 20. He's plus 120 for a top 20. I like the top 10 rate better. He top 10s at a 19% clip. He top 20s at a 33% clip. So it's pretty close. It's not even double. It's a half more. So I like the top 20. I like the top 10 in this field at plus 260. Let's do that. We got to get a bit of exposure to this guy at plus 260. You're not really emptying the bankroll on him. I like where we're going in that department. Mackenzie Hughes, we spoke about this on the PGA show with Joe Nicely. The problem with Mackenzie is he's a scrambler, tough golf course scrambler. This golf course doesn't suit him. Genesis did. I was big on him last week, kind of fell down the leaderboard as the weekend unfolded. Patrick Rogers, y'all want to see some regression as the week goes along. Take a look at Patrick Rogers' strokes gain numbers. Just 51st in round 1. Then as the weekend tries to make the cut, 106th. Like anytime this guy is under pressure, there's a problem. Then he makes the cut, and then he's got the 31st best round 3 scoring. And then on the Sunday, it goes to 47th, which is a lot better than I expected. Not nearly as bad as Justin Suh over the weekend. He's been bad. But I digress. Patrick Rogers had a 10th at the Farmers, and that's his only top 10 finish, but he's had 2 top 10 finishes here in the past. Interesting. He does have a few top 10s on the course there, and it's his best market. Okay, we are learning some stuff here. Let's take a look at what Patrick Rogers for a top 10 plus 320. That's a 24% rate implied. He does it 8% of the time over the last little while, not in fields like this, better fields typically. And he's done 2 top 10s at this golf course in the past because he's a very good long iron player, I'd imagine. Doesn't hit a lot of good shots, but his green regulation rate and his strokes gained is inside the top 30. So that's good to see there. He's a much better from 150 to 200 than he is from 200 and out, surprisingly enough. And he's pretty good out the rough. So I don't mind him. I know the course history thing isn't the best reflection of what he can get up to, but at plus 320, we'll sign us up for that a little bit. I don't mind dabbling in that department. Let's do it. Top 10, Patrick Rogers. I mean, he does it as bad as he can be. It's the market he's kind of found the most success in. He's still losing incrementally over there, but not nearly as much as the others. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. And the big butts are whether or not he can win a tournament ever. And I cannot lie and say that he will ever, but I don't mind him for a top 10. Finished 10th, 9th at the Farmers. We said we like that as a comp. Let's go. Freaking missed the cut at the Genesis. Geez, like. So, yeah, let's go. Patrick Rogers, plus 320 for a top 10. Love that. All right. Justin Suh. Gosh darn it, dude. This dude. You don't bet this guy for a top 20 because it doesn't work. It's top 10 or bust, basically. His top 10 rate of return is 20%. He does that 12% of the time. Justin Suh makes the cut 84% of the time and only finishes inside the top 40% of the time. Not even half the amount of times he makes the cut does he finish inside the top 40. Now, bear in mind, on the PGA Tour, 65 people and ties make the cut. So it's not even like half. You know, like it's not 80 people. It's like 65 to 75 people make the cut, sometimes 80. So he just cannot get it together. And we just saw how bad his like final round stuff is. Not very good. We leave him alone. We'll leave him alone. If you're looking at like a cash game play, he's your guy. He's gonna fall down the leaderboard, but he's gonna get you into the weekend. More likely than not. Mark Hubbard has been playing good golf. He's a top 20 beast. His top 20 odds are pretty darn solid. He does it 27% of the time, and he's plus 200 to do that. Over the last 24 rounds, he's the 9th best golfer in the field. If you take a look at his approach play, he's a very good long iron player. Strokes gained weighted, 4th in the field. That matches up with his 3rd in general approach play. So that's good to see from the Hubster. He's good from 150 to 200. He's good from 200 and out. He's good out the rough. He's good in the fairway. Just across the board, he is a class act with the irons. When it comes to par 5 scoring, he's 46th. So that's not necessarily the best in the world, but it is what it is. He's a round 2 delinquent. Every other 3 rounds is inside the top 30 in this field. But in round 2, he tends to just mess around a little bit and finish with the 93rd round 2 scoring average. So he needs to figure that out. But over the last little while, we've had a 20th and a 4th place finish from him at Pebble. He was surging up that leaderboard. 4 or 5 made cuts this year. Very nice to see since the Sony. And he finished 20th here in 2023. That is all adding up to a top 20 bet for me. I'm liking Mark Hubbard for a top 20 bet. In this range of plus 200, it is his most profitable market of the bunch. We're getting him at a 33% implied probability to do so at plus 200. He typically, in bigger and stronger fields than this, does it at 27% of the time. So that's fair to me. I like that. I like where that is leading us. Thomas Dietrich. Woo! This dude. 70% made cut rate. 9% of the time he finished inside the top 20. The top 20. It's the same as Chesson Hadley, and it's the same as Harry Hall. Like, it is disgustingly bad conversion rates for Thomas Dietrich. And if you take a look at the round by round stuff, Thomas Dietrich in round 2 as the 3rd best strokes gained, but 104th and 86th over the weekend. It's just a complete meltdown. It's a meltdown factory every single time. So I'd play him like first round leader if you want to, or in round 1, round 2 showdown, particularly round 2 showdown. But do not bet this guy. He's going to break your heart. He's going to. So we'll leave him alone. Brandon Wu's got some good course history. I'm not necessarily thrilled about him. If you if you have not seen that tweet out on X right now, go and find, I think it's Tom and Marty or something like that. That's his Twitter account. Or just search $5 Carl Yarn. He said for every like his tweet got, he would bet $5 on a Carl Yuan outright. It's got over it's got like I think it's got like 500 plus likes the last time I looked. So this guy's going to be dropping like 5K on a Carl Yuan outright by the end of the week. So we'll leave him alone as well because Carl Yuan's in some serious situation. Our next bet I want to talk about is a Carson Young top 20 at plus 275. Carson Young, the reason we use this kind of a tool here in the model, and I'm seeing some Wi-Fi issues. Please let me know if the Wi-Fi has been giving me issues. But Carson Young has lost you money in top 10, top 5, and the win outright market. But he would have won you $398 in the last 12 months if you bet him to finish top 20 to win you $100 per bet. My Wi-Fi is driving me nuts. It's okay. Let me know if it's a problem, folks, please. What about Carson Young? Look at this top 20 rate. 29% of the time he's inside the top 20. That is a lot better than his top 10 rate, which is only 4% of the time. So that's the problem with Carson Young. He played nicely here in the past. He's a very good long iron player. If you take a look at his weighted strokes gain numbers, he's 8th in the field in iron play. It's all because of those irons from 150 and out. It's delightful to see. Take a look at what he's got up to at this golf course. He has a 15th place finish here the last time he played, and we've got a 17th at the Amex. That's his best finish. So I really like him for a top 20. That's his best market. He tends to pop. The value seems great there. Plus 275, Carson Young. I have no idea if this is making it out to you guys because I'm seeing Wi-Fi buffering here. Your connection is unstable. Not like Carson Young's approach play, though. It's all good. It's all good. Let's close out a few tabs here. Maybe that helps, but I think it's mainly just got to do with the Wi-Fi. All right. All right. Let's calm down. Let's do this thing. So Carson Young, we like him. Top 20 plus 275. Chan Kim, 140-1 over at enhanced odds on Bet365. He is our third outright on the card. He is ready to rock and roll. If you like some guys that can make birdies, if you like guys that can do what he can do, Chan Kim is your guy. He only played on the PGA Tour for a few rounds of golf, 3 to be exact, but he has done some scintillating stuff. Over the last 24 rounds, he's gained the 10th most total strokes in the field. He's $6,500, and he's plus 350 for a top 20, which is a 22% implied probability. His top 20 rate in the 3, he's had 1 top 20 so far. So that's good to see there. We'll be deep diving a bit of him a bit more in the Korn Ferry Tour section of this article, of the show a little bit later. Obviously, we don't have any good shots and iron numbers from him because the Korn Ferry Tour doesn't have that. It is what it is. If you take a look at what he's been up to, his round 1 situation is always rough. It's always rough. But he bounces back so hard in round 2. He gets off to a rough start, but in round 2, he's got the 5th best strokes gained average. And then just does okay over the weekend. A 14th at the Amex and 2 missed cuts on either side of that at the Sony and the Farmers. I like his chances at the Mexico a lot more. I like the strength of field. I like Chan Kim at plus 350 for a top 20 bet. I love it. I love it. I think his upside's the way to go. If he has a good week, he finishes out the top 20. If he has a bad week, so be it. I'm not going to bet him top 40 or anything. That is what it is. Chan Kim, he's going to win this tournament if the other 2 guys don't. He's going to win this thing if the other 2 guys don't. So we love that for him. We love the top 20 bet. We love the distance off the tee. We love the easy scoring conditions. And we love his ability to absolutely bounce back in round 2. If I had some sort of a lowest score in round 2, Chan Kim is the guy. I love that bet for him. We'll be playing him in round 2 showdown for sure. We have one more other guy I want to talk about here, and his name is Vegas, Jonathan Vegas. He's not necessarily going to pop in any other metrics. He's been hurt, he's been injured, he's been all that jazz. But if you take a look at the last 12 months worth of data on courses longer than 7,200 yards, Jonathan Vegas is the second best driver of the ball. If you take a look at the last 24 rounds off the tee, he's 6th in the field. If you take a look at the last 24 rounds ball striking, which only include 11 shot link rounds, unfortunately, we got that California swing with no lasers, but he's played good golf, ball striking wise. The chipping and putting has been an abomination, an absolute abomination. He hasn't played much golf, and when he was playing badly. So it is what it is. You know, we're going to see some baseline numbers that don't look nearly as appealing. But at 70-1 for Jonathan Vegas to win this tournament, let's go. He finished 22nd at the Phoenix Open. He missed the cut at the Farmers, but went nuclear around the North Course after having a bad round 1. So we'll see what he can get up to. It's an absolute shot in the dark. He suits this golf course really nicely. I think I had some Rainmaker cards stashed to the roof for him when he was going to go to Mexico last year. He withdrew the week before or so. Terrible situation. So that was the first time I lost a bunch of money in Rainmakers because I had loaded up on Johnny Vegas. I was going to sell half of them and use half of them. Injury. So he's back from the injury. Let's see what he can do. 71. That rounds out the outright card with Tony Finau taking up the majority of our exposure. We've also done a bunch of bets here, which we will recap here promptly. Tony Finau's the outright. We like Davis Thompson at minus 110 for a top 20. We like Stephen Yeager for a top 20 at plus 105. We like Taylor Pendrith for a top 20 at plus 120. Jake Knapp for a top 20 at plus 170. Aaron Rai, top 40 at minus 125 is our bet there. Emiliano Grillo, a top 10 at plus 260. Patrick Rogers, top 10 at plus 320. And Mark Hubbard is our second last bet at plus 200 for a top 20. And then Carson Young, plus 275 for a top 20. And then, Jesus, we've got another Chan Kim bet here for a top 20 at plus 350. So we got some safe-ish bets. We've got some absolute punts. If Chan Kim cashes, a solid bet for us. That's hardly any exposure to get our return there. Same with Carson Young, same with Hubbard, same with a lot of these bets. There's some high exposure, volume betting. It's typically what we do here on back nine bets. We don't typically find one bet and kind of go with it that route. We kind of diversify. We diversify or die. That's basically how it goes. So we like these guys' chances, some high odds, some long odds. We'll see what can happen in that department. It's time, friends. I'm going to take a quick sip, and then we're going to get into the Corn Ferry Tour. 44 guys who are playing this week. I missed the research show. Sorry, I was down in Nashville seeing my 2-week-old nephew. Got home at like 10 o'clock. Had no chance to get to the research show. It is what it is. Apologies. We will be doing that going forward. I will now be home for a little while. Let's open up our Corn Ferry Tour situation here. Rookies and returners. Let's do this thing. Do we do pasted or let's do pasted. Probably a little less clunky on the stream. All right, take a look at this. So for those of you that are part of the Rotoballer Discord, this has been shared in there. You can have access to this in a Google Doc and go from there. Let's hide one or two columns that aren't really applicable to us and take a look at these guys. So I'm actually going to just add a quick column to this one. And we're going to pull in some, add it over here. Why is it doing this to me? All right, let's actually do it at the end, just so we're not messing around with stuff here. I'm going to quickly pull in some salaries from the other model here, and then we're gonna rock and roll. Here we go. Okay. Bang. Boom chakalaka. We got to add one thing in quickly. We've got some spillage. That's okay. We know how to deal with that. All right. Not available. What on earth is going on here? Fuck it. We don't need the values. We know these guys are going to be. I'll pull it up on the side here and say what they are. All right. Let's do this. So our number one guy. Let's filter on. Oops. Let's filter on the last. Let's just see who's played the best over the last little while. The last 12 months, and that's Nicholas Lindheim. He's not playing this week, so we'll leave him alone. Alexander Bjork will be our next guy, and he doesn't typically suit this golf course all that well. His driving distance is not nearly as good as you'd want it to be, but he's an accuracy guy. He's going to be in the fairway a lot. He's going to find himself in the fairway a lot more than anyone else. Doesn't hit it a long distance, though. So that's the problem. but he's played some good golf. Take a look at Bjork. He's actually done some good stuff. Let's actually just pull up Data Golf and go from there. I think that's what we want to do. Pull up Data Golf and go from there. Bjork has done some fun stuff, folks. Done some fun stuff. And he's shown up on these courses that he shouldn't really not have. The American Express, 11th. Missed the cut at the Sony, missed the cut at the Waste Management. 70th at the Farmers Insurance. So he's like not quite getting it together. 10th at the Nedbank back in South Africa, and the 2nd at the Omega. So I don't know if he's actually going to be the guy we want to play this week. I know. So let's leave him alone. Let's find our next Corn Ferry Tour guy. Ryan Fox. This screams to me a guy we want to play. And what's he been up to the last little while? He's not even playing back in his New Zealand Open because he decided it's go time. He wants to play on the PGA Tour. Missed the cut at the Farmers. The putting let him down. He's got tons of distance off the tee. He's very good with the putter, and the approach play is starting to get back together. I mean, it's been very bad the last little while. We'll have to see. But he's a gamer. Like he just gets it to, like he pops. He pops every now and then. And we're not playing on we're not playing on US soil. We're playing elsewhere. Look, he did well at the Scottish, which was in Europe. Made the cut at the Open. Played nicely early, like late last year, and then kind of has lost the plot a little bit. So I think he can have a bounce back spot here. Ryan Fox is like one of our favorite guys so far to kind of target. Adrian Maronk, we'll just delete his ass completely out of here because he ain't coming back to the PGA Tour. Thorbjorn Olesen is next up. And he, folks, if you take a look at the last little while, I'm actually going to filter on my model for the whole tournament, and we'll see what's going on here because he popped pretty. I think he's leading the field in strokes gained total over the last 24 rounds. So let's take a quick peek at his situation because he's seemingly playing good golf. So yeah, he's playing very good golf. So the last tournament he just played, he won the Ras Al Khaimah Championship over in Dubai. Approach off the tee, around the greens, and putting. But mainly, I mean, this ball striking was scintillating. Gained 8 strokes ball striking basically in that win, and then putted lights out. He's been putting very well the last 3 tournaments. So that's good to see. And the form has been phenomenal. He's obviously $10,300 for a reason. He's played on the Zurich and he finished nicely at the Genesis, but outside of that, really hasn't played too many PGA Tour tournaments the last little while. Love him. He's obviously going to be quite popular. I mean, to finish top 5, he's plus 600. To finish top 10, he's plus 300. To finish top 20, plus 137. So, I mean, he's solid, very solid. And I feel like a top 10 bet on him would be fun, but I don't know. Plus 300, I guess. We've bet a lot already. But he'll be a DFS play for sure. And he potentially would be our switch from Tony. Because I think we love the distance. You know, it's decent distance. The approach play has been great for the last little while. And unlike Big Tone, we've got some putting and short game. Like, we've got some short game action. It's not going to let him down. Love Thorbjorn. Love him a lot. Like, way more than Ryan Fox. Obviously. I mean, the odds will reflect that. Granted, Bet365 has them at plus 600 and plus 650 for a top 5 each. So, Fox might be a little more popular than people expect. And I think at this price tag, Thorbjorn at 10-3 definitely is worth a look. I like him a lot. He's sneaky. And maybe he shows up, maybe he doesn't. Ben Coles is going to be one of these guys. Plays great golf. Been doing his thing. And if you take a look at his recent 4 to 8 month trend, that's where he's been doing his best golf. Is recently, the last 3 months or so, he played some really, really good golf. And he's not very long, though. That's the problem. He's like only hitting a 294 off the tee. But His approach play rank, I guess, in the few rounds he's played have been great. Hits tons of greens in regulation for a guy that hits that short, which makes a lot of sense. He's always going to be from the fairway. Has had some putting issues. Now, the birdie or better putting conversion rate, not the best. Granted, he doesn't hit it very far, so maybe the fact that he's hitting long irons to the greens can make him have a little longer putts. That's the situation you're going to find yourself in there with him. But he three putts quite a lot, considering these other guys don't do it nearly as much. I guess. I don't know. Three putting stats are weird, especially on the Korn Ferry Tour. That's Thorbjorn. God damn it. He's also pretty solid though on par fives, which is good to see. And his main jam is medium scoring. So not necessarily like the easy scoring situations. The medium scoring is where you want to be. But we got these the wrong way. The wrong way, my friend. Let's get these colors the right way. Yeah. Boom. All right. So Ben Coles is actually pretty darn good when it comes to easy scoring. He likes the easy scoring conditions. Let's take a look at his data golf quickly. I don't think he's been playing that good, though. Yeah. T5 at the RSM, and that's about it. Sony Open made the cut, American Express made the cut, and then missed it at the Farmers and the Waste Management. Struggles around the green. When he's putted well, he's played okay. The distance is ass. So I don't know about that. I don't know this week for him. I think there's other sneakier, better position golfers like this Adrian Dumont de Chassot. I mean, what a mouthful. What about his game do we like the most? He avoids bogeys nicely. He dominates. He's very good on the par fives. That's good to see. I'm assuming his driving is very good from a distance perspective. Yep, very good with the distance there. Not nearly the toasty Jake Knapp situation. By the way, Alejandro Toasty we'll get to you shortly. Love him. But he's a lot more accurate. He's like sacrifices a bit of distance for accuracy. His good drives rate is through the roof. 87% of his drives / approach shots are either on the fringe or in the fairway of the green. On the fringe of the green or in the fairway is good to see. His stuff is good. It's good, but he hasn't been playing very good lately. Easy scoring is his best. The harder it gets, the less better he plays. Like hard golf courses are his worst. So I think he's actually got the best easy scoring of all the Korn Ferry Tour guys. Yes, he does. So that's good to see. We like him, and I don't know how well he's actually been playing since he's got on the tour. I think he's taking a hot minute to get his stuff figured out. Yeah, not a lot of green compared to the Korn Ferry Tour. I mean, he had himself a period of time here where it was just Korn Ferry. He came on, played for a few tournaments, and just won his first Korn Ferry Tour start, I guess, in 2023. So that was good from him. Was that his first start? It was. Interesting. And then just top 10'd it. Like top 10 pretty much every single one of his starts until like August, until September showed up, and then he hasn't really showed up yet. So we'll have to figure out what he's up to. The baseline is there. Like we know that, I mean, this talent is very good, and his game translates. The distance off the tee is good, but we've lost some confidence here right at September. Maybe what is his situation here? He's a casual $6,300. So that's not terrible. It's not terrible. I don't think he'll be very popular. He hasn't been playing good. I think he's worth the chance. So just to get back to some stuff here quickly, what I'll be doing for my DFS this week is 150 max. The last few elevated events, I've been doing 3 entries, single entries, all that jazz, a little more concentrated player pool. This week, we're going to find a few guys at the top and then pile in guys like Dumont de Chassot, all those kind of dudes. So the Alejandro Toasties, the Joe Highsmiths, the Jacob Bridgmans. We'll see as we go down here who we really like. Back to your paid programming, friends. So we like him as a sneaky play, not necessarily like the best play, but a solid play. Jake Knapp, we know exactly what's going on with him. We'll be playing him. Sorry, AK. I just think he fits this golf course very nicely. Alejandro Tosti is our guy. If you take a look at his player profile over on Data Golf, lots to like from Toasty. It's delightful. The last 25 starts are very interesting. He's won on the Korn Ferry Tour back in August, had a run of top 5, top 8 finishes. Very nice to see there. So we've got it. And look at this distance column. Distance abounds. So much distance. He's made 2 cuts on the Korn Ferry, missed the cut at the American Express. Obviously, that's a weird situation. Off the tee, he's been gaining solid. The approach play here and there, and the putting comes and goes. So he's very volatile, but I think he's from Mexico, right? He's from Argentina, which is like basically Mexico. You know, it's just south of Mexico, I guess. So let's go. I think he'll find himself playing nicely. He finished 10th here last year. I know course history is not anything here, but he gained across the board. I mean, it's probably very normal conditions for him. I feel like Mexico versus Argentina, it'll translate. So we love him. I'm going to change Ryan Fox to orange. Yellow's good. Orange is, we don't mind him. I don't actually like that orange. We like this orange. Okay. Jacob Bridgman. What about Jacob? Lets us solid at scrambling, which is whatever. His tons of green regulations, got decent distance and decent accuracy. That's good. The good drives gained is pretty solid from him in that department. Over the last little while, I mean, he's consistent. He's consistent. He didn't win on the PGA Tour, on the Korn Ferry Tour, and he's top 5 rate of these guys at the top here, of the worst ones, but his consistency inside the top 25 was pretty darn good. So he finished inside the top 25 58% of the time. That's one of the best here in this column outside of Jake Knapp, who did it 65% of the time. So that's good to see. He's very good in round 1. So I think Jacob Bridgman will be a round 1 showdown play for sure. He kind of gets a little worse, and then in round 3 gets a little scared. You know, I think he seems to me like a Taylor Montgomery type situation. Let's take a look at what he's been up to in the last little while on the PGA Tour. This is Jacob Bridgman. Right? Jacob Bridgman, yes. Okay. 3 starts, 2 made cuts, a 39th and a 70th in that department. It's been putting. It's been all putting. The rest, the tee to green game has kind of come and gone here and there. We'll see. I mean, look at this Korn Ferry Tour stuff. It was pretty darn solid to end the year. And that's good to see. Like, this form entering the week was good. I think we're getting a Korn Ferry Tour type event this week. I don't mind Jacob Bridgman. I don't mind him at all. We're going to make him orange. Not necessarily like thrilled about the guy, but I don't mind him. Jacob Bridgman is going to be cheap as balls, friends. Jacob. $6,600. Okay, that's a little more expensive than I expected. So that's good. You know, that's okay. I don't mind him. He's a safe option. He's gonna anchor like a top 40 potentially. We'll see what he can get up to. Let's take a look at Joe Highsmith. He also didn't win. He's like here and there. I think round 2 is his jam. Tends to play his best golf after a little bit of a slow start in round 1. He bounces back quite nicely. Ended the year very well for Joe Highsmith. I think he had the best final few rounds of golf. I mean, it was only 12 or so. But yeah, his 12 rounds that he ended was very good. Let's take a look at what he did on the PGA Tour since then. Joe, and I think he's had some like really good rounds and some really bad ones. So he missed the cut to Sony in epic fashion, and then has had a 34th and a 33 in the last 2 starts. Played nicely at the Farmers, not like terrible with distance. He's just middle of the pack, which is fine. The accuracy has been pretty shit, if you ask me. Since compared to his like accuracy on the Corn Ferry Tour, he's lost the driver a bit, it seems. Maybe he can bounce back on these wider fairways in Mexico. The ball striking needs to show up, but he's balled out considering. So Joe Highsmith I'm assuming he might be in the 6K range as well, considering he's been playing quite nicely. $6,600 as well. Interesting. Okay. I like him a lot more than I do Bridgman, but I still kind of don't mind Bridgman. If you take a look at Victor Perez, I think my main man, Ian McNeil, touted him on our show a little while ago. I'm losing track here. It's been Victor Perez. DP World Tour, some solid stuff. 2 top 10s in his last 3 starts in the DP World Tour. Played very good golf there. Approach play has been great. Got lots of distance. That's good to see. So that's a good course fit. Missed the cut at the Farmers. Missed the cut at the Waste Management. Can't putt in America. Maybe he can putt in Mexico. It's a totally different surface. The ball striking is promising. I like the course fit for Victor Perez from a distance perspective. The Nedbank's a tough driving golf course. So he still finished 33rd there. I've played that golf course back home. It's tricky. Thick kikuyu around the fairways. So I don't necessarily think he would have thrived there, but I like what he can do here. And I mean, the accuracy in his 2 starts have been pretty solid so far. Victor Perez, I is not thrilled about him. And what's his price tag here? $6,700. So we got like a lot of these guys from the Corn Ferry that are 66, 67. I don't mind him. I think he's going to be a yellow candidate. I think he goes under the radar. Pavan not in the field. Ben Silverman. So he had a really good start to his Corn Ferry. I think he won a few early, and then he just started playing like crap over the last little while. Probably once he knew he was going to make it into the Corn Ferry Tour. Look at this top 5, top 20. This guy's boom or bust, and that just screams to me like, yes. Whatever Ben Silverman's price is, before we even take a look at what he's been up to on the PGA Tour, that top 5 rate is delightful to look at. $6,200. So he's one of the cheapest guys we've seen so far. Love the top 5. Like, he's not scared to get in the mix, which is good to see. Now, the recent form is obviously lacking, apparently. Yeah, but take a look at this run over here. 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 9th, 2nd. So he had some really good ones. So he won at the Bahamas, and I wonder if he kind of, with the 3rd and the 2nd, and then a few more in July, he just didn't really show up. I think he kind of might have been resting on his laurels a little bit. But he's made 2 cuts on the PGA, 18th at the Sony, short game. All short game. Then made the cut at the Farmers, ball striking the crap out of it. Accuracy through the roof. So the guy was just pounding fairways around Torrey. Holy cow. 21% more fairways than anyone in the field. Was that must have been like the most fairways hit. I'm getting a complete tangent here, but that's okay. Let's take a look at this accuracy from him. Ben Silverman, 78.6% of his fairways, hit 33 of 42 fairways at Torrey. Wow. Good stuff from Benny. Okay. I mean, that's not going to really help you that much around Vedanta, but I don't mind. I don't mind what he's been up to. The Sony was solid. The made the cut at the Farmers. So he's made 2 cuts and he's $6,200. He gets a yellow time. He gets a yellow stamp from us. We already gave it to him. Spencer broke Rio Hitsutsune's market. Let's see what Spencer liked about him. Looks like his recent form, started trending in the right direction. That's good to see there. He was a DP World Tour guy. So these top 5 percentages aren't nearly going to be as sexy as the Corn Ferry guys, because I think the DP World Tour is a bit trickier and a bit more difficult. And there was only 10 guys that came from there versus the 30 that came from the Corn Ferry. He's pretty solid across the board for most rounds. He's not the best with distance. So that's interesting for Spencer that he was only just 298 yards off the tee. I think tour average is 301. Hits a lot of greens in regulation. Also on the DP, they don't really play the easiest of golf courses. And we're looking at Campillo, which is basically the same stats. All right, let's take a look at his data golf profile and really see what Spencer was trying to Rio. Let's soon say. So 11th at the American Express. It's just, I don't know what Spence is seeing here. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to figure out. I'll chat to Spencer and see, but I'm sure we can take a look at his article at some point and see there. But it's all around the green. He's a wizard. He's a Japanese Harry Potter. 33rd at the Farmers. I mean, he's been making cuts, but I think the hype's going to be a little too much. I don't see it. I don't see it for Rio. $9,200. Woo. I mean, he's won, played good on the Euro Tour. Hasn't really done much on the PGA side, but in better fields, better fields, he's played well. We'll see. I don't know. I think he's going to get overly owned. Like he's going to be quite popular. We'll just make him orange, eh? Okay. Jorge Campillo. What's his price tag? Jorge Campillo, short game wizard, it seems. He's $6,400. What's he been up to on the PGA Tour since he's shown up here? Nice head of hair for Jorge. Last 25. This is his maiden voyage. It's his maiden start. Interesting. Why would you take, or maybe he just hasn't had eligibility? Probably, but he's a Euro Tour guy. They had priority over the Corn Ferry. So he's just been he's been playing in Europe. Fascinating. Why would you want to not try your best to get a PGA Tour card? Played nicely the last time he played, finished 5th at the Qatar Masters, which is he's been playing. Oh, maybe he's just been trying to get those appearance fee monies, huh? All of these have been in Dubai. Okay. Doesn't have tons of distance, not necessarily getting it done off the tee, but the approach play can come and go, it seems. So he looks like he's $6,400 for Jorge. He will be unlikely. He won't be very popular whatsoever. First start in Mexico. All right, let's get back to business here. Let's make him. I'm not like overly thrilled about Jorge, but we like him as orange. We'll see. Oh, we're starting to get Max Griesemann and Rico. Some distance. That's good to see. I like to see some distance popping up here. And the boys, let's take a look at Max Griesemann's situation. Got distance and accuracy. That's good. That's very nice to see. Very good at avoiding 3 putts. Par 5 scoring. Very good. That's nice to see. Typically plays in more difficult conditions. I understand. He's got a very good short game, probably pretty good at scrambling. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. What's his green regulation rate? Pretty okay. Not necessarily the best, but solid. And his golf gets worse as it goes along. So he's not going to thrive over the weekend. What's Max Griesemann got up to? Max Griesemann, not Max Homer, the Greasy Max. Made 1 cut at the American, but he's got the distance, that's the thing. Interesting. Also, he shows up or doesn't. Some high-end finishes, 2nd and 6th in his last few Corn Ferry starts. Interesting. Max Grieseman. Maybe do we get our first $5,000 Corn Ferry guy? 5'9". Let's go. Okay. Maximus. I don't mind him. I like the course fit. I don't necessarily like the fact that he's not like the best in easy scoring conditions, but I love the par 5 scoring. And I'm assuming with distance, he's a better long iron player than he is a short wedge guy, but that's an assumption. We don't know that for certain. Take a look at Rico Hoey. Also, very good with the par 5s. That's good to see. What's his situation on easy? Better on easy. So maybe he's the guy we like more than Max. We still like Max at 5,900. Uncle Rico, $5,300 for Rico. Okay. And I think Rico might be from Puerto Rico. I'm probably lying to you there. Let's see. Rico Hoey. Bali, this chat has fallen asleep on me. Eh? You guys got rocking and rolling until we got to EVR. Let me know you're out there, people. Let me know you are out there. So he's done diddly squats since he showed up and in an epic way. Oh, pain. Missed the cut at the American Express, gaining 0.09 strokes on the week. Brutal. And then lost. It's just the putter. So maybe he can get it together here this week. Didn't necessarily play his best golf to end the Corn Ferry Tour year. Didn't really even pop into the top 10. But he got off to like an exceptionally hot start where he was just nuking it. 4 top 3s. 35 miles today, folks. Sorry. I'm exhausted. It's my first 35 miles of the year on the bicycle. 4 top 3s, including a win. That's good. Way down the board. What's up, Spaz? Thanks, bro. It's good to see you back in the mix here. Way down the board, Max Grieseman, 5,900. Rico Hoey at 53 is appealing to me. I mean, the approach numbers have been good. The off the tee numbers have been good. The distance is promising. The short game is not. And at $5,300, I'm willing to take a chance. I'll throw him in like 5% of my 150s and call it a day. Who the hell knows? This is the Mexico Open Corn Ferry Tour event. Rico Hoey gets a yellow approval because of the price tag, because of the distance, because of the ball striking. We'll take a chance on him with these disgusting, the short game. Yes, I think so, bud. And that's why we're going 150 max, not single entries, not 3 entries. We're trying to take advantage of these randos down here, trying to find who we really like and go from there. Chris Gotterup is going to be a bit more popular. He's a bit more of a household name. What's his price tag? I should have just figured out how to get these. We still do it, but I've spelled like half these guys' names wrong in here. $7,100 for Chris. He's also Chris hasn't really lived up to his rep, has he? Despite playing a lot. I mean, I remember sweating the shit out of him somewhere when he like his first PGA Tour start. But look at this. Off the tee, just delightful. I mean, just Nuke City. His best finish has only been a top 50, though, in his 4 starts. Played okay on the Corn Ferry. I don't know. Is this guy like a competitor, though? I don't know if he is. His best finish was a 4th. I wonder what his round-by-round stuff is. I think he probably goes backwards over the week, I would imagine. Solid across the board, I guess, which isn't – I did not expect that. I see Vincent Norman. We didn't Mike, I spoke about him earlier in the show, and I don't think I was like overly excited about Vincent. This is the Corn Ferry part. Vincent's on the PGA Tour. Go back. Geez. I don't know, buddy. You're going to have to go check. I can't even remember what I said about Vincent. Wasn't like thrilled about him. I think we're just going to leave Chris Gotterup alone. I mean, the distance is probably going to make him overwhelmingly popular. We're not getting tons of salary at $7,100. I don't know. I'm out. I'm out on him. Robert Mack, I don't think this is a golf course for him either. He needs to play in some difficult conditions. He's a scrappy golfer. Got decent distance off the tee, but the accuracy is terrible. One of the worst in the field. And then if you take a look at what he gets up to, like the par 5 scoring is mediocre. That's that's DP World Tour. But take a look, like 0.75 strokes gained on easy scoring. It's not gonna get it done for us when we've got these other guys like Silverman and them like doing some serious work in that department. I don't know. I'm out on Bobby. I think he's going to be too popular of a name in this range. He's also like a household name. Let's take a look at another Mac, not Bobby Mack, but Mac Masner. Mac Masner, what's his situation? His driving distance is 310 yards on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's decent accuracy, so he's a good driver, it looks like. His approach play has been pretty darn good when he has had those metrics. Hits tons of greens. Good. I'm assuming his par 5 scoring is good. Yes, it is. It's green. That's good amongst his peers. Not the best at easy scoring conditions, probably because the putting is ass. So that's his problem. Oh, check. Rico Hoey checking out on the putting for sure. One of the worst guys. Wow. He needs to get it together with the flat stick. Maybe those past Palm greens will get it together for him. We'll have to see. But I like Mac Masner. Let's take a look at what he's got up to if he's played at all and his name is McClure. Let's actually just search his. Okay. So I think Vanity National has him as McClure. He's missed his 2 cuts so far, the American and the Farmers. Got tons of distance. Tons and tons of distance. And ended his year pretty nicely. We'll give him another chance. All good, dude. All good. Like, no stress. I think someone asked me. I can actually tell you. Someone asked me about him. So I actually answered them about Vincent Norman. Vincent Norman was asked at some point. Oh, at 6:20. I started the show at 6:03. So like 17, 15 minutes in, you'll get your Vincent Norman take from me. I probably could have just given it to you again the amount of time I was speaking about it here, but all good. We don't want to repeat ourselves. So I like Mac. I like Mac Masner. Tons of distance. Finished nicely on the Corn Ferry there. Let's go. Like him a lot. He's yellow for sure. Patrick Fishburne. Wow. Is that great a golfer? And what is Mac's? Matt? I want to see what Patrick Fishburne's up to. The fish. Mac Masner, $5,600. I like it. All right, Fishburne, 59. So we're getting into the cheapies here. This is fun. Talk about being a complete sicko. All right, Fishburne, Patrick, what is your situation? Hasn't made a cut yet. Wasn't necessarily that amazing on the Corn Ferry Tour. Had one top 2. And then a while, so he kind of just did it with consistency, got some solid distance. The ball striking's been good. Wow. For Farmers, he gained, I guess, only 1 round. He gained a stroke. Very good there. 59, I don't know. I don't know if we can play all of these guys. I'm not like that. We also want to look at what he got up to on the Corn Ferry Tour, and I don't know if I like that. Parker Cootie. I think we're going to see tons and tons of distance from this boy. Yeah, 319 yards off the tee. Good drive gains, pretty solid. Greenie regulations from the fairways, 84% from the rough and the fairway, 75. So solid GIR rate there. Probably because he's hitting tons of wedges into the greens. Is he an easy? Dominates these par 5s. He's one of the few guys that's under 4.5 par 5 scoring average, which is around, the PGA Tour average there. Easy scoring is Parker Cootie's situation. I think Parker Cootie's probably going to be pushing 7K though, isn't he? but both of them. Ooh, Parker's 65. His brother is 55. We'll get to his brother. Someone was trying to sell me on Kevin Doherty this morning, and I had to pretend I knew what he was talking about. Okay. Kevin Doherty, he's here. We're getting to him. I'll jump to him here after Parker Cootie's kind of take here. Let's take a look at what Parker's been up to. We know what he's done on the PG on the Corn Ferry. Parker Cootie. Oh, 26th at the farm. I think he was playing quite nicely at the Farmers. So he's made 2 cuts. That's good. Ended the year pretty crappily on the PGA on the Corn Ferry, but got hot in the middle there. Tons of distance. Makes sense. And he's got progressively better since he started playing. I like the Parker Cootie. I like it. I think he'll be a bit more popular. You're not going to get sneaky with him, but I think he's a solid option down here in the $6,500 range. I think someone else also asked me about Doherty, and on the show, yeah. Who asked me about Doherty? That was quite funny. I can't remember who it was. Was it Brian? Brian H. Brian, my man, asked us about Doherty. Okay, let's take a look at Kevo. Oh boy, the final 8 rounds of his stint on the KFT was a disaster. Last 6 months was a disaster, and his 12 months he lost strokes in general. Not good, but popped. Top 5s, he had multiple. 13% of the time was inside the top 5, about a quarter of the time inside the top 10. So must have had a good start. Hits bombs. Hits absolute nukes. Of the Corn Ferry Tour guys, only Chris Gotterup and Jake Knapp and Alejandro Tosti played better than him off the tee distance-wise. So let's take a look at what he's been up to. I think that's maybe why everyone's on him. He's like, oh, look how far he can hit the golf ball. But he looks like he played like ass on the Corn Ferry Tour. Kevin, there's like 5 or 7 other Kevins ahead of him before. Guy's got a complete cheese on him. Look at this. What is this? This is like the crux of a data golf statistical profile. Got that stuff. Doesn't even have it in sport mode. It's just full on distance mode. All right. Kevin, what? Farmers? Look at this stuff. What on earth? You knew Brian was full of shit. Brian's not full of shit. He's one of the OGs of back 9 bets. I love Brian. I know you're joking, but maybe Brian's still watching. He can defend himself. Kevin, holy cow! Look at these numbers off the tee. So it's only 3 rounds of golf at the Farmers. He made the cut. Just starting on second base. Okay. Let's take a look. Let's add some distance here as well. All right. So Kevin, let's actually just do the whole Doherty thing. Yeah. Get him on his own. Okay. There we go. So driving distance for the week was 313 yards. Round 1, 311 yards, 14 drives, hit 4 fairways. Okay, that's fun. Round 2 in the Black Hole of the North. Gained another stroke off the tee, so got better in round 3 once he made the cut. What did he do around the North course? Gained some strokes. That was what got him through to the weekend. And I think the North course is a better comp than the South, for what it's worth. Lost a ton of strokes in round 3 once he'd made the cut, but gained a stroke off the tee. The approach play was complete garbage. And then hit 8 fairways going 314 yards a drive to gain a total of 2 strokes off the tee. That could quite be the most gained that day. By half a stroke almost. Jesus. Look at this guy. So like he's going to be off the tee bananas good. But the rest of his game is not. So I don't know. What is Kevin Doherty? What is his name? Doherty? Is that what you call it? From America, so I doubt it's said that way. 33 years old. Jesus. What's his price? $5,500. So he won't be owned. I don't think at that price tag people will go that hard at him. But solid option. So Brian knows his stuff. Whoever was telling you knows his stuff to a degree. We're gonna have to figure out. Okay, we filtered this. Let's get back to the original. Is it going to take us back? It's going to take us back. All right. So let's just do it for the people. Yeah, we'll make it yellow. I'm leaning orange. Let's make his name orange, but I think he's like in between orange and yellow, in my opinion. The driving is amazing. I don't know that is an important part of this week, but you also got to hit your irons well. We'll see what he can get up to. But this guy's interesting. 55, he's worth a flash in the pan. Why the hell not? Chan Kim, I spoke about him already, but I want to just dive into like some stuff with Chan because to me, he's appealing too. 1-2 in a row on the KFT after not really doing diddly squat prior to that. And then finished 14th at the American Express and missed the cut barely in the 2 other instances. I won't say the Sony was a very good course fit for him. Look at the off the tee stuff. Hasn't had tons of distance, but he's a good off the tee guy, good approach play, and can spike with the putter or completely disintegrate with the putter. So that's what you're getting from Chan, the Chan man. I like him. Full send on him. We'll see. Look at this round 4. Look at this round 2 stuff from him. He gets off to a slow start and then just goes bananas. So he's a round 2 showdown guy. Jimmy Stanger. Let's get back to Chandler Phillips. We're going to go through all of these guys if they're even in the field. I'm assuming majority of them are. Chandler Phillips, $5,900. His situation, he's won once on the Corn Ferry. Good. His distance is average. His scrambling seems good. His putting is good. Par 5 scoring is ass. So I don't know if he likes hard scoring conditions. Yeah. Out on Chandler, just looking at him in this department. Jason says Pendrith is a lock. Yep, we got him for a top 20, brother. Top 20 for Taylor Pendrith this week. Jimmy, we out on Chandler Phillips. Sammy Valimaki. I think he played quite nicely at the Farmers. The guy was ball striking the crap out of it. $6,700. Take a look at what he gets up to. Not necessarily the best par 5 scorer. Good on the par 3s. We got 5 of those this week. And his best stuff is easy scoring. Not nearly as good as... But for a DP World Tour guy, that's good to see. Very good to see from him there. And gets better as the week goes along, until he gets to gets worse, actually. I lie. Starts off good and then just absolutely, completely disintegrates. You can see it happening here in the statistical. Look at this. What on earth? Fred. Is he a Corn Ferry Tour guy? AK? Who's Fred? I think he's from Brazil, isn't he? I don't think he's on the Corn Ferry list yet. All right, let's take a look. But Sammy, let's take a look at Sammy quickly, and then I'll look at Fred. Sammy Valimaki from the Euro PGA DP World Tour situation. Won the Qatar Masters, dialed it up on approach, got good distance off the tee. That's good to see. Played in 4 PGA Tour events, made his 2 cuts in the last 2 starts. Waste Management Phoenix Open approach was dialed up. So he looks solid. $6,700. He gets a solid stamp of approval for me. In fact, I'm going to I almost wanted to make him green, but I would have had to make a few other guys green as well. All right. Fred Biondi. I have no idea. Isn't this the Joyce? As we have it, Frederick Lacroix. All right. Yep, Brazilian. Okay, at least I knew that. Cool. So PG, did not qualify. What the? Okay. Oh, so that means he didn't. He gained strokes in it though. He's been playing on the KFT. Guess he gets his first start on the PGA Tour. That's nice to see. Played some fall stuff. 23rd and 13th at the Butterfield and the RSM. Okay. Doesn't have distance off the tee, so to speak, at all, or accuracy. So his driver is a monstrous liability, it appears. But he's good. Obviously won some shit down in college or whatever. Approach play and putting. That's his thing. I mean, gained tons and tons at the RSM putting. What is his price? 5,800. I feel like the Butterfield and the RSM are two courses that would really suit his game. Just looking at this, I don't know about the Mexico. They like complete opposite sides of the spectrum. If you're looking at courses, you want good accuracy. You want good. I mean, he doesn't even have accuracy or distance. Like, he's a very bad driver of the ball. It's going to put him. He's starting on third base and has to round around to kind of catch up to everyone still. While Kevin Doherty's like rounding on first with a full steam of 328 miles yardage off the tee. So I'm gonna say no. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say no. Jimmy Stanger, he was the guy I tweeted out. Got some solid distance. 316 in the thing here. See you getting here late, saying if I mentioned Keith Mitchell is definitely winning. I said he's definitely not winning. He's definitely not winning. Keith Mitchell doesn't even have a. See ya. You're a celebrity here, so I'll go back and say the reason why Keith Mitchell doesn't even have a white on his name is because he doesn't even have a top 5 this year, even though the model ranked him out pretty nicely. Take a look here. Keith Mitchell, 5th in the model. No top 5s, the same as Davis Thompson. So he ain't winning this week. He ain't winning, buddy. And he ain't. Look at this. Disgusting top 20 numbers as well. Oof, not good. So anyway, back to your regular paid programming on the KFT over here. We've got Rose Miller in the house. What's cooking, Rose? We've been deep diving some Corn Ferry Tour guys, and so far Kevin Doherty has been he gained the most strokes off the tee in round 4 at the Farmers Insurance. So that was a fun situation. Yeah, Kim, your favorite Kim is Michael. Oh, well, Chan Kim is our guy this week. We'll have to see. Maybe we do a friendly Chan versus Michael. I'm going to need like 3-1 odds on that, though. Anyway, back to Jimmy Stanger. 316 yards off the tee, solid accuracy, hits tons and tons of fairways, tons of greens from the fairway, converts on birdie or better rates, avoids the 3 putts pretty nicely, and is okay on the par 5s. Not very good on the par 3s at all, which means he's probably a very bad iron player. Yikes. But he hits lots of green irregulations, probably because he's so far down the fairway. His best stuff is easy scoring. Let's take a look at what he's done on the PGA Tour. Jimmy Stanger, 28 years, 11 months old. Ooh, 14th at the American Express, putted his brains out, gained tons of strokes around the Farmers Insurance Open in round 2. Obviously missed the cut there, but he's got above average distance with decent accuracy. So that's an interesting play. Jimmy Stanger, I think he's $6,100. The approach, as we saw on the par 3 scoring, it's complete garbage. It's short game. It's all short game for him. Interesting. I wonder if he's like better with his long irons than he is with the wedges. Like the American, but like it won't say. The Farmers, so difficult with limited stuff. But I think I'm going to still stick by my guns with Jimmy. What is his price? I think I said it was 61. Yeah, 6,100. So we'll see what he can get up to. Jimmy Stanger, everybody. All right. Ryan McCormick. We are rounding out the bottom of the board here. Is Ryan McCormick playing this week? Who the hell is Ryan McCormick? He's playing this week. He's $5,500. He's a good putter. He's solid on the par fives. His best strokes gained come on easy conditions. He's a good scrambler. He doesn't hit a lot of green regulations. His good drive percentage is complete garbage, but he hits it a decent amount off the tee. What did he get up? Didn't really ever contend too hard. Solid top 25 rate. So he's one of these guys that's just going to kind of get you a made cut situation at $5,500. Let's take a look at what Ryan McCormick has been up to. Okie dokie. Missed his 2 cuts. Oh, barely at the American Express on the number, basically. I guess someone gained and also missed there. But he balled out off the tee when he played the stadium course. Good to see there. Gained a fraction at the Farmers. So nothing terrible. I don't mind him. You know, like we get the distance from him. Who the hell knows what happens? This isn't like terrible golf. And with this kind of distance that, you know, we've seen how important that is. It's better than it's not nearly the Kevin Doherty situation, but it's also pretty darn solid with the rest of his game hanging around. I don't mind it. And he's $5,500. So I'm in on him. We like Chan Kim. Roger Sloan, back in business. What on earth? What a world we live in. All right, Roger Sloan. Hasn't made a cut on the PGA Tour, won the Utah Championship at the KFT level, and that's been about it. Didn't top 10. Okay, easy decision there. Roger Sloan hit tons of fairways at the Farmers in his 1 round he played there, but we're out on him. David Skins. Okay, David Skins. David Skins seems to have played better as the year came to an end. Won on the KFT, had 15 top 5s and 25 top 10s. 25% of his starts were top 10s, which is good to see. So he definitely likes to get in the mix. Phoebe likes David Skins as well. Hits it 310 yards off the tee at a Corn Ferry Tour level. Very good out of the sand. I don't know if that's going to help you here. And avoids 3 putts quite nicely. Dominates the par 5s. Dogs are going nuts. I think Mrs. Maniac just got home. All good. David Skins. We are definitely way over our time limit than normal. Oh boy. Yeah, no. Not. Just nothing good, yeah. All right, moving on. Josh Teeter is our next guy on here. Solid par 5 scorer. Medium courses are his best trait. Also harder is the second best, so maybe not the environment for him. Birdie or better. Yeah, I'm just easy decision, yeah. Not in on Josh Teeter. Unless he's like a driving distance beast, but he's not even that. Okay, easy decision. Moving on to Grayson Murray, who hits it a country mile. I think he's going to be a little more popular than we'd expect. Maybe not. I don't know. Not in the field because he's won a tournament. So why would he be in Mexico? That's an easy decision there. Scott Gachewski. Let's get him into the mixture. Not going to be a good 301 yards off the tee. Doesn't hit a ton of greens. Scrambles pretty well. Oh boy, par 5 scoring is abysmal. Abysmal. I'm assuming Scott's also just not going to be the guy we want to play this week. Yeah. Nope. Hasn't gained strokes since June. Okay. We're down in the bottom of the barrel here. Wilson Furr. I don't mind Wilson Furr. Let's see what he can get up to. Look at this, the trend. He was trending pretty hard. One of the hardest guys trend-wise. And has a high, like one of the biggest gaps between his ceiling and floor. Hits it long. Okay. What does Wilson Furr get up to on par 5s? Not the best, not crazy. I guess he does his best work on easy scoring conditions. If you take a look at his round by round stuff, I remember I played him in a few tournaments. He WD'd from the American Express. That was tough. He was playing well. He was playing like really well. And then WD'd. So if you go to Wilson Fur, take a look here. Strokes gain total in round 1, 2.65. Round 2, lost 8 strokes. So just everything just went to shit in a handbasket, like quickly in round 2. So something happened there, and he hasn't quite been himself since. And I think, what did he get up to at the Farmers? Missed the cut by a bit. Nothing too crazy, but he suits this golf course. Got tons of distance. I wonder if he's injured. I mean, the distance doesn't look like it's been very good since, but that was in January. We're sitting probably about 3 weeks since. I'm assuming he'll tee it up. Wilson Fur is a casual. $5,600. Interesting. And he played. Look at this run at the Corn Ferry Tour level. Guy was playing some good golf. So if he's healthy, what did he do at the Farmers? I like him. He might be one of my favorite options. At the Farmers, he lost strokes in round 1 at the North Course and then kind of got eaten up by the South. Still gained off the tee there. And the driving distance was okay. Wasn't amazing. I'm going to be going back to Wilson Fur. Again, I'm playing 150 lineups, so these guys are just going to get rotated in here, in the bottom here. I think one of these Corn Ferry Tour guys finds himself at the top of the board, at least inside the top 10 by the end of the week. So hopefully we can find who one of those guys is. Rafael Campos. Par 5 scoring, average. His best scoring strokes gained. He's on medium courses. Not the best putter, it seems. Let's take a look at what he can get up to distance-wise. It's very good to see. That's good. When he makes the cut on the weekend, he plays quite nicely. He's not even a DP World Tour guy. He's actually a Corn Ferry grad. Started trending in a nice direction. What did Campos get up to? Rafael. Ooh. Okay. So he's playing some golf on the Corn Ferry Tour in the meantime, kind of staying sharp. I like that. We haven't seen that from too many other guys. Curious as why he'd be doing that. Maybe because if he doesn't keep his tour card, he stands a chance of getting it back through the KFT. I appreciate the hustle, Rafael. And I think he played quite nicely at the Farmers. I think there was some good stuff from him. Gained a ton in round 1. Solid in round 2, solid in round 3. He gained every single time he played in all 4 rounds. Yes. Rafael Campos, arguably one of my favorite options so far. Love the hustle going back to the Corn Ferry Tour while he's on the PGA Tour still. He's $6,300. I will be gladly paying that. Guy's playing some good golf right now. Tom Whitney. Ooh. We got some seriously, no win, but tons of top 5 percentages here. Tons of top 10 percentages. About 1 out of every 4 starts was a top 10 for him. Doesn't hit very far. Womp womp. Tons of accuracy, though. Tons of greening regulations. Doesn't dominate the par 5s. That's not good to see. Let's take a look at what he's been up to on the PGA. Whitney. I don't know about this golf course for him going into this venue, but the Farmer... These Corn Ferry Tour guys are psychos, eh? They are complete psychos. Tom Whitney finished 13th at the Farmers Insurance Open, gaining 1.73 strokes per round in the 3 recorded shot link rounds at the Farmers Insurance. What? Okay, let's take a look at Tom Whitney here. So he gained almost 2 strokes in round 1. Round 2, we won't know. Round 3, lost strokes there. Must have bounced back in round 4. Gained 3.4 strokes in round 4. God damn. So this guy he can get hot with the irons. And that's long iron play that we saw over there at Torrey. I'm Whitney, $5,700, folks. Yeah. I don't know. Why the hell not? I don't think anyone knows who Tom Whitney is. He doesn't have distance at all. but he's a baller. Apparently, the guy can strike a golf ball on approach. Gosh darn it! I mean, what did that grade out as in the field? I mean, that has to be fifth. It's fifth. Wow. And the rest of you, 13th. Okay, Tom. Okay. Norman Yang, tons of distance off the tee, good drive gain, blah blah blah, all that jazz. We all know that about Norman the Panda. Look at the par 5 scoring. That's good to see. He likes the hard scoring conditions the very most. Must have won on the Corn Ferry Tour when it was hard. Let's take a look at what Norman. Oh, I wonder if someone was asking about Norman Yang or Vincent Norman. Sorry. If you were asking about Norman Yang earlier, here he is. Oh, boy. Okay, so he made the cut at the Sony, the only one he's made so far in the 3 starts he's had. Won the Nationwide Children's Hospital Open. On the Corn Ferry Tour, the Visit Knoxville Open, he finished second. So he likes those Opens a lot. This is the Mexico Open, so we'll see what happens. Didn't quite take care of business at the Farmers. Hasn't played his best golf on the PGA Tour yet. And I think he's going to be popular. Well, by popular, of the more popular options, $5,800. I think his name is a bit more recognizable to people. And there's nothing outside of like this one blip over here. There's not a lot telling me I want to play him. He's okay. Like whatever. We'll make him orange. Pearson Coody. We already saw his brother hits nukes off the tee. What can he get up to? Pearson won a Corn Ferry Tour event, maybe 2, who knows. Let's take a look at what he got up to. Loses strokes in round 2 and round 3. So he's not a fan of the lead. Hits nukes as well. He's sitting here with Kevin Doherty, boys, in distance. And his green regulation from the fairway is amazing, obviously, because he's going to be hitting wedges like crazy there when he's in the fairway. Par 5 scoring, not very good. Just in general, it doesn't seem like he's as good as his brother, but let's take a quick peek at what he's been up to on the PGA Tour. Coody. Pearson. Yeah, no. Okay, we're out. Easy to make that decision there. I think Parker's the guy. Trace Crow was hanging around at we're not going to have anything from Trace because he came through on the Q School side of things, but he played quite nicely at the Farmers, I believe. Very nicely at the Farmers. 25th. Okay, but I think he fell backwards. On approach, distance, putting, good. All good stuff. Trace Crow finished 25th. I think he was like right up in the mix. Gained 2 strokes in round 1, a little bit in round 2. Played very nicely in round 3. Just approach, putting around the green play in general, and then round 4 must have fallen back a bit. Makes sense. I think he was like right around the top of the leaderboard. Anthony Kim. Is Tom Cat replying to Sia about his favorite Kim? Yeah, but Anthony Kim washed. Awesome guy, but washed. But he can still be your favorite. That's fine. Trace Crow. Yes. Let's go. Let's go with Trace Crow. Hayden Springer as well. I wonder who the guy... Oh, was Tom Whitney... Tom Whitney, is he the military guy from the Air Force? He has quite an interesting face. Yes, this is him. Tom Whitney. Looks like he's keeping a secret from you. Like he's trying to keep in a laugh, isn't he? Anyway, okay, back to regular paid programming over here. I like him. I like Tom Whitney a lot. All right. So, Tom Whitney, thank you for your service, my friend. Hayden Springer, also one of these guys that showed up out of nowhere at Q School. And I think he's a baller. He's scrappy guys from this corner. Look at this guy too. 27 years old. Qualified at the PGA Tour School. Farmers Insurance putted his brains out. Absolutely putted his brains out at the Farmers. Got some solid distance. That's good. Nice to see that. And good stuff. Springer. Let's see what his situation is. Price wise, Hayden Springer is $5,700. I mean, these guys in the 5K range, if you're looking to play Tony Finau, they're very essential to your lineups. Paul Barjon, according to Pat Mayo, he's lost his Long Dong Paul Barjon to the Long Dong Mathieu Pavon instead. So he's going to have to either go get himself some surgery or figure himself out on the PGA Tour. But Paul Barjon found himself at 31 and a half years of age and made the cut at the American Express, got some distance off the tee, spikes a bit on approach, I guess, in the 2 rounds at the Amex. The Sony and the Farmers were miscuts by a decent amount, particularly at the Sony. I think maybe this course suits his game a bit. Won the Corn Ferry Tour Championship, though, and the Memorial Health Champ. So he's got like spike potential, I guess. It's nothing in between. Like there's not a lot of good rounds in between there, though. I don't know. I don't know. Paul Barjon, what is his price? Paul Barjon, $5,700. We'll make him orange. I don't know if I'm thrilled about the guy. Harrison Endicott just came out of nowhere, won the Q School, I guess. Good drive rate, solid. I mean, he also played on the PGA Tour at one point, so we've got lots of that going on for him. I mean, these are all PGA Tour stats. Let's take a look at Harrison. We're rounding out the bottom here, people. We're rounding out the bottom here. It's probably been the longest episode of Back Nine Bets ever. So he decided to go play on the Euro Tour. Interesting, because I think the Q School guys don't get very much priority either. Played twice, made the cut at the American Express. It did it with the around the green play. Putted his brains out over in Europe. So he's playing quite nicely, I guess. I mean, why not? What's his price? I guess just his overall play is looking good. $6,300 for Endicott. All right. Now Mrs. Maniac is home. He's playing good. I think at $6,300, if you got a guy playing as well as he is right now, that's fine. Rahul Pereira, he's played well here. Also, Q School guy. Not going to have too much stats from him, so we just got to have to look at his situation here. I don't even know how to spell his name. Raul. There we go. There's more E's than I thought. Okay, so he played nicely when he played here the last time. Played solid golf on the Mexican Tour, blah, 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 all that jazz. T60 at the Mexico Open, but I think he went completely backwards as the week went on. I think he had a hole out for an eagle at one point. So he gained 5 points. He was like first round leader, I think, with Tony Finau, or one shot behind or something. 5.2 in round 1, 0.76 in round 2, lost a third of a stroke in round 3, and then just shot a casual 5 over par and lost 7 strokes total in round 4. Maybe that doesn't happen again. I think he's probably a better golfer now. He's also, I think he's bare minimum. I think he's bare minimum. He's $5,000 flat. I mean, yes. Blaine Hale. Paul Haley, Blaine Hale Jr. There we go. Qualified at Q School, missed his 2 cuts, barely missed at the American Express. Yikes, that sucks. Went to town. Okay, so this guy's got some juice in the tank. Tons of distance at the Farmers. Gained 1 million strokes on approach at the Farmers Insurance in round 2. So much so that or was it round 1 that he did it? Because he would have. What is this? The Farmers? Where's he at? Oh, these are guys that made the cut. Okay. Hale. Round 2. Yeah, I mean, geez, dude, that's insane amounts. Like, but he also missed a bunch of fairways, so maybe it's some good shots from the rough. I don't know. The distance isn't the best. Yeah. I don't know about this guy. I think he had like a miraculous week. What is his situation, price-wise? He's our final guy. I mean, we got literally all of these guys playing. It's $5,400. Make him orange, whatever. Not necessarily overly excited about him. But that's it. All right, we managed to do it, folks. So these are the guys we like. we got 21 dudes in the 5K range. Guys that I'll be playing a lot of. Well, no. Thorbjorn and Jake Knapp aren't very high. They're not 5K options. Toasty is $7,800. So he's also going to be expensive. So the majority of these guys are at the top here are not like cheapies. But Joe Highsmith, I can't remember exactly how much excited. I think I was the most excited about Sammy. I think Wilson Furr's got an interesting bounce back situation. I think Rico Hovey was very, very bad short game. I can't put him in here with the yellow guys with black letters. He's got to be in between yellow and orange. Love Chan Kim this week. Tom Whitney as well. I think I'll probably put Tom Whitney in about 10% of my lineups just to give it a go. I don't know. I think this guy's figured its stuff out a bit. The approach play just seems ridiculously good. Who the hell knows what happens with him? But he showed good form on the Corn Ferry Tour as well. So that's fine. I'm willing to take that on. He's got insane upside. Not like the boys that are priced more than him though. So that makes sense. You know, we're seeing some respect there for the boys that played nicely too. Let's see what happens. That's it, folks. 2 hours and 12 minutes of back nine bets. Did a casual hour, 12-minute deep dive into the Corn Ferry Tour, guys. My Corn Ferry Tour article is out there. It's got screenshots of all of this stuff, like in a nice little template. Go check that out on X there at the Model Maniac. Also, if you're a premium subscriber for Rotoballer, use code NEW for 30% off. If you're not, I pasted this bad boy in the Discord. It can be yours. You can use it to your benefit. It's in there. This week is the most important week for that. Awesome stuff. Thank you for joining. See, you guys have been hanging out with me all week, all 2 hours and 12 minutes. I really appreciate you guys that have. Have an awesome Tuesday night. Have an awesome Wednesday. I am exhausted. I pedaled my butt off today. Went to the doctor for a little regular checkup again. Nothing too crazy going on in my life. Don't stress about me. All's good. All's good. Pedaled my butt off. 35 miles today. It was a nice day in Iowa, though. Middle of February, I was biking back in just a biking jersey, so it was good. Good day to be on the bicycle. I encourage you to go get your butt into some sort of shape if you are like me and have put on a few polar pounds since things have got cold. Just go take a walk, take your dogs for a walk, take the missus for a walk, go walk on your own, take a look at the trees that don't have any leaves on. Have yourself a good Wednesday, have a fantastic Tuesday night, and go make a difference. Go make someone smile. Go make someone happy. If you aren't, maybe just forcing yourself to be nice to somebody else can really just spark something in your life too. You know, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're listening and you do, go do something amazing. Have a great rest of your week, folks. We love you over here at Back Nine Bets. I will have Darbo from Sweet Spot DFS in the house tomorrow night for Hacking It in Hollywood. We are doing Dexter. Love that show. I've been watching season 4 of the Trinity Killer season. Great season. Looking forward to hacking it up with him in Hollywood. And we'll kind of do some last-minute DFS chit-chat with him. He's always a fun guy to chat about his bucket system. I think his stream is still going on right now. So go check that out there at Sweet Spot DFS on YouTube and tell him I sent you because he'll appreciate that. So thanks, Mike. Thanks for hanging out. Tomcat, Alan, Sia, Rose. Really appreciate all of you. Brian, you guys rock. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night with Darbo. Peace.